I'll be taking you through the MTN ZA. I think since our last communication, two events have taken place. So we had the first quarter results that came through, and we also had the capital markets day that came through. So we'll share our insights on those two key events, and also on the valuation. Nothing much has changed since then. Just closed up a bit with the share price rallying in the past week or two. So in just terms of the results, they're quite mixed. Top line was what management had expected, around mid-teens growth in rand terms. But what we also saw was high inflation eating in on the margin. So across the major regions, Nigeria and Ghana, the inflation was quite high, and the pricing wasn't sufficient to offset that high inflation, with margins being weak. In terms of the capital markets day, they touched a lot on Nigeria and Ghana, and they shared their insights on the outlook in the regions. I think overall it was marginally positive in terms of the insights. So they're seeing inflation normalizing a little bit lower, and also they're looking at in Nigeria in the second half, they're still negotiating pricing, but they're feeling slightly positive on the pricing element, because what's happening is that with the cost inflation coming through, the number 2 and number 3 player are struggling more, but MTN being the number 1 player is still more resilient. So in terms of protecting the sector, that's what the key element in. And then you've got the new president coming in Nigeria, and he seems quite highly rated, a very good executions gentleman. So they're looking at that also improving. So he's already taken 2 major steps that came through. The new president has a few key elements to touch in. I think one of them was definitely fixing the central bank and also the subsidies and the currency as well. He's already touched on those 3 points. We saw MTN Nigeria share price going up quite significantly, and also playing out positively on the MTN share price as well. So operationally, it does seem like a very, very good person. With that in mind, I think overall it looks positive going forward. And then in Ghana, you had very, very high inflation that happened. So they've struggled with Russia, Ukraine, and there's the effects that had played in. It seems like they do have the current issues being tackled, as the Minister of Finance was there on the capital markets day and he shared his thoughts on how they're looking to fix the problem. In terms of the growth vectors, data and fintech, data momentum is still carrying on, and then fintech as well. So they're looking at rolling that out in Nigeria. So they reinforce the guidance around those 2 growth vectors. So we're still seeing those as being the growth engines for the company, and we feel positive on the company overall. So balance sheet very strong. Net debt to EBITDA of roughly 0.9 times. We maintain our buy recommendation, and there's no change in our intrinsic value.
Thank you very much for joining us today.